We now have in the studio Ismaila Isah. He's the special advisor media to Kogi State Governor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
I think it is 20 days or thereabouts because today is 6th.
Yes.
By 27th, your governor will be 1 year in office. Is that correct?
Inshallah.
One monumental decision he took, which was on October, I think it's in October 2020, was the banning of mining activities. What prompted that decision?
Okay, well, I won't say it was an outright ban. What happened was because of the nefarious activities of illegal mining in the state and the security implications for communities where we have solid minerals deposit in the state. So the government haven't reasoned that it should not allow some of those illegal miners who are perpetrating criminalities within those communities to continue to have some kind of free space to operate. So the government had to ensure that there is some kind of sanity. Of course, the suspension of licensing was actually the right word or the right decision. Yes. So, and with the hope that with sanity being restored, the state is now ready and set to welcome prospective investors into the solid mineral exploration sector in the states, and that's where we are at the moment.
Can we say, if we put on a scale now, maybe Zamfara, Katsina, and then we now put Kogi, which is in North Central, and maybe by extension Niger, which is part of North Central.
Yes.
Will you say you are faring better in terms of addressing insecurity?
I think we are faring better in terms of addressing insecurity because one of the major things we've done as a state is that instead of waiting for the bad guys to come to us, we are probably the only state in Nigeria that has decided to consistently take the fight to the bad guys in their hideouts. As I speak to you, we have continued to engage in clearance operation across the state, especially along the borders with Kwara, Ekiti, Nasarawa, Benue, Ondo, and a couple of other states with which we are bordered. We are bordered by 9 states, as we are aware, and including the FCT, yes. So we continue to take the fight to these criminals in the bush, and then that has been very consistent. One thing we've also done very well is to ensure that whenever we want to embark on this clearance operation, we contact the governments of our neighboring states so that they can join us to have this joint effort across the border in particular, so that these guys don't hibernate around the forest within those spaces and then come back to hurt our people. So we've been consistent with this, and the operation has been quite successful, even though there could be 1 or 2 blips occasionally.
Are people traveling over now, confluence state, and it's like a crossroad, you know, from the south. In fact, virtually, is it from the northeast, part of the north central, from the northwest, people going to south, they have to pass through Kogi.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Sure.
Now, how secured are these highways now? People can travel at night.
Of course, we travel. Some of us travel almost every week.
People are calling out the NSA for saying you can travel freely overnight.
Yes.
Are you going to say that you are on the same page with him?
Of course, we're on the same page. We've had a strategic relationship with the office of the NSA and the Nigerian military and other security agencies. You recall that maybe earlier in the life of the administration, we've consistently, up till I think the last quarter of this year, provided logistics for security agencies in terms of vehicles, well over 300 vehicles. Yes,
over
of
300?
course, over 300 vehicles.
In 1 year?
Of course. We provided motorcycle, I think, in hundreds, and we've recruited almost 3,000 vigilante and local hunters.
Are they doing pro bono or you give them allowance?
In short, this vigilante group has been reorganized and re-energized under improved security architecture in the state, to the extent that the vigilante group and the local hunters now earn even more than the minimum wage in the state. Yeah, they earn over 100,000 naira. They earn over 100,000 naira.
The vigilante?
Yeah, the vigilante group.
And they are almost 2,000 or 3,000?
Of course.
Where are you getting the money?
Well, the state, of course, you know that the governor of the state, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, is a proven accountant who has found ways to somehow ensure that leakages are blocked, avoiding wastages in governance, and also ensuring that the little resources that accrue to the state is well utilized in providing things that we largely regard as first-line charges in terms of the agenda of the government, which is security, agriculture, social welfare. Of course, you know that we're the first state in Nigeria to implement the minimum wage of 72,500. We also implemented...
Have you paid for any month?
Of course. We started payment since October, and we also announced a tax freeze for 12 months on the new minimum wage. All the civil servants will not have to pay tax elements that ordinarily should accrue from the new minimum wage. We've also increased allowances for our pensioners in the state and also implementing free health care for pensioners in the state.
Is there a nexus between what you are saying and then the, I'm sorry to use this word, the purported security in the state? Is there a nexus between maybe giving what is due to security operatives, giving what is due to civil servants, and then the corresponding improvement in security?
Well, you'll be right to say so, because when the larger population is happy, there's a tendency that especially young people will maybe be prevented from the tendency to engage in unlawful activities. That's one. And a lot of them, knowing that the state government prioritizes security of lives and property and the welfare of those who have volunteered to serve in the vigilante service and as local hunters, working, of course, in concert with the conventional security operatives. So what that does is that because of the appreciative tendency and posture of the state government, a lot of people are volunteering to serve. And even within communities, we now have a very robust mechanism for intelligence gathering, so that in my community, for instance, in Kogi, when you get there, within 5 minutes, somebody is going to stop you and ask you questions to know exactly whether it's in the morning or at night. So that's the kind of structure that we've created in the state, which is ensuring that our state is better secured and our people are happier for it.
I'm a security reporter, and I vividly recall those days while I was reporting from Borno. If you take away Borno, you take away Yobe, and you take away Adamawa in terms of security breaches, you have to jump and land in Kogi. This is an acceptable
Yeah, that must have been a long time ago.
Exactly.
Probably over 10 years ago.
Yes. Now, what happened to those cells of Ansaru, the cells of Boko Haram, and all that in Kogi?
Well, we must give credit to the immediate past administration of former Governor Yahya Bello, who ensured largely that the security architecture of the state was largely overhauled and made it very robust, to the extent that he was voted best governor of the year in terms of security in Nigeria for about 2 or 3 years back to back. Yes, within his first tenure and even part of his second tenure in office. And that security architecture has been largely consolidated upon by the current government of Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, and we're ensuring that we will continue to build on that. One good thing that we've also done very well in the state is our collaboration with security agencies. Whether the service chiefs were changed or whoever they may be, we always as a state try to connect with them, try to synergize with them, and then we seek their active collaboration and partnership in everything we do in terms of security in the state. And all of the military and paramilitary heads in the state are very comfortable with the leadership of His Excellency, the governor of the state, in ensuring that there is prompt security report, and whenever they are called upon, they are mobilized. In fact, the level of patriotism displayed by the heads of the military and paramilitary organizations in Kogi State, for me, is next to none in Nigeria, because I've seen some of them in action. They are probably, among some of the best and most courageous set of security operatives we have in Nigeria, and they are ready to put their lives on the line at all times to make sure that our people are safe and secure.
What's the difference between what is happening in Kogi, where you said you have borders with 9 states?
9 states and FCT.
Yes. How are you achieving the collaboration? Because when you come to Northwest, for instance, people are alleging that there is no synergy. It's like each state wants to be on its own. The governor is chief executive, so I have my own architecture of how to approach the security situation. And here we are now, you see a bit different, but almost the same security challenges that you have in Kaduna, is in Katsina, is in Zamfara, then it's now extended to Kebbi, and then up to Sokoto.
Yes.
Why is it difficult for states to collaborate?
Well, I think every state has their dynamics in terms of how they want to approach security or counter insecurity. But in Kogi State, you give kudos to the governor, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo. His approach to governance is very commonsensical, very normal, and very, I would say, he tried to demystify governance by way of ensuring that he's able to reach out to all manner of people that can help him to achieve his objectives and his vision of a secure and peaceful state in Kogi. So, which is why he is not afraid to reach out to his brother colleagues in other states, especially the governor of Kwara State, who is like an older brother to him. They've worked very closely together. Even before he became governor, he was very supportive of his aspiration as a candidate at the time. And when he emerged, he was among the first set of governors, of course, because of his position as also the head of the Nigerian Governors Forum. So he also deferred to him on many instances. And that has helped him to also be able to reach out to governors of Ekiti and also on those states. Luckily, some of these states around Kogi are also APC states. So it is easier to achieve that kind of nexus. So if you would, maybe it's a coincidence, but somehow the governor's approach to maybe bring governance down to the people in a way that is very, maybe a common sense approach to governance has ensured that he's able to reach out to people, he's able to build bridges and then connect with people in a very, sometimes very informal way of ensuring that things are done when they ought to be done and the way they ought to be done, irrespective of the air of maybe paraphernalia of office. I mean, that's how he gets it done.
If you hear about heavy investment in security, of course, you spokesperson have a way of, giving it the color it needs.
Yes.
But when you dig deep, you now realize that it's at the detriment of other sectors.
Yeah.
Maybe if I ask you one or two, I don't know. Can you say the huge money being sent to Kogi from the center, especially after the removal of fuel subsidy? Your governor, very lucky.
Yes.
He now came at the time when there is more than enough money, let me put it this way.
But you also agree that things are a bit even more expensive now. Some of the things we could do with the kind of allocation the state was having maybe a year or two ago, you may not be able to do it now with the kind of resources we have.
But are you people paying attention to other, like education?
Of course, we are doing education. We have free education. How? Free education is operational in Kogi State from primary school to secondary school.
The definition of free is relative, Ismaila. You are a journalist, and if I say something is free, is there value in that distance? Do students get value for that?
They do, especially with respect to instructional materials and payment for external examination from common entrance up to UTME exams. The state government pays. Just recently, the state has paid over 600 million for over 8,000 final year students that are taking the senior secondary certificate examination. Yes, of course, yes. And that has been done consistently. Last year, over 500 million was spent. This year, the figure has gone up because of the number of people that are getting enrolled in school. We are aware that Kogi in the whole of northern Nigeria is one with the least number of out-of-school children. Yes, and that we want to continue to push that frontier in ensuring that all our children that ought to be in school are in school at the right age and at the right time.
Why I'm saying this is because, World Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates, African Development Bank, they have all showcased data that clearly establish that there is direct correlation between poor service delivery to people in terms of education, in terms of health, even rural roads, support to agriculture, and insecurity.
Yes.
And there is the allegation. In fact, we are doing investigation for Trust TV and the newspaper. How governors are actually channeling huge resources to bogus projects, just like bridges and all that. Instead of providing water, instead of providing feeder roads for farmers, instead of subsidizing fertilizer.
We are doing all of that in Kogi State.
How do you mean?
It will interest you that in the past year alone, during the wet season farming, we spent over 10 billion on agriculture. We've ensured that agricultural mechanization has taken a strong hold in the state. We have established about 76 farm clusters across 21 local government areas in the state. We're operating a policy called the 1 man 1 hectare policy, under which we've been able to enlist about 10,000 farmers, all of whom are actively engaged in farming. The state government clears the land, provide tractors that will service the farmers, provide all of the implements for free, and the farmers only need to come there, get their seedlings planted, and then just supervise it and ensure that it's done. And what we've also done is that in terms of security, even members of vigilante or local hunters who are watching over the farms also have to take a hectare of the land each to also cultivate.
And they are secure.
Of course, they are secure.
Have they done it?
Yeah, they are.
Of
course, they do it in the last wet season. That's why it is no surprising that the price of food for the first time in a long time in Kogi State has crashed dramatically, to the extent that a mudu of gari, which used to be about 4,700 around this time last year, up till about June when we started the wet season farming, has come down to 2,300.
And people from outside didn't go to mop it up?
No,
or you have
because
some
we are ensuring that we are also able to, government is offering itself at the first right to have the right of first refusal as off-taker for most of the farm produce. We are doing about 65 kilometers of rural roads, cutting across all the farm centers now, from Osara to Aku to Oro and all of those places. And then we are doing almost 400 kilometers of road across 21 local government areas in the state.
I wish we have more time to discuss this, but we have less than 2 minutes. Now,
Okay.
I want you to quickly talk about the division
Yes.
that actually manifested in the aftermath of the last election. People
Sure.
believe that Yahya Bello actually brought his own cousin and put it. What are you doing to
He's
mend
not his
fences?
cousin, and they are not related in any way. In short,
I'm
they are,
hearing this for the first time.
yes, they are not even from the same community, neither are they from the same clan or the same
But
kinship.
they are both Iber.
Yes, they are
People
both
thought that he
Ibera.
would take it
no,
back to
no, they
Igala
are not
land or
related
the
in any
Okon
way.
side.
And I think it's high time journalists like us get informed about the fact that
They are not cousins.
they are not related at all. They are not related at all.
He only picked him on Mary.
Yes, because he's been in the system and he feels that he understood what has gone on in 7 years or so that he served as Auditor General for local government in the state, and then he was picked. And his performance so far speaks for itself.
Is he taking along other ethnic nationalities?
Of course. Of course. Appointments in our state are based on wards and polling units, so it doesn't matter where you come from. There are 3 special assistants from every ward in the state, 239 wards in the state. So it doesn't matter your tribe or your clan.
And you have to answer this in 5 seconds. They said he is overprotecting Yahya Bello, using his immunity to protect Yahya Bello. What will you say on this?
No, I wouldn't say there's something like that.
It's not true.
Yeah, no, it's not true.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish we have more time, but no time, Isah. But
Thank
we
you,
will
Hamza.
certainly invite you
I'll be
some
back.
other time to
I'll be
deliberate
back
more
for sure.
on this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you.
And viewers, this is Special Advisor Media to Kogi State Governor Ismaila. Earlier in the program, we had Barrister Umar Amin Kaluko, a lawyer and public affairs analyst, who spoke about alliance between Lakurawa and bandits in the Northwest. And that brings us to the end of this package. Join us tomorrow for more interesting package of daily politics. However, for now, I'm Hamza Idris.